Okay, that's decent. That's decent. Just bring the gun up again, as if you're going to shoot. Okay, drop your shoulders. There you go. There you go. 5 shots. Okay. So.
You can't go faster than that.
You can't. Shy, man. I can show you can. I'm going to show you.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Grey Man Operation. So this is one of my favorite types of videos to make, training videos, because I believe it's so important. I've been spending some time with the guys from Concealment Training. Anton, who is the main guy there, has been training me, and I'm going to bring you a review of what I learned. But in order for me to properly tell the story, I have to start off with a story. Okay? Now, those of you who know, well, some of you may know, some of you may not know, that I've spent a lot of time doing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I trained at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Cape Town under James Smart, who is a black belt under Huron Gracie, I believe. Believe it or not, when I started training, I was actually the fastest to complete the master cycle and get to the advanced class at that time in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Cape Town. So I kind of fell in love with it. And I've been very fortunate to train with, like I say, people like James. I've trained with Huron Gracie. I've trained with Henna Gracie. I've trained with Jadison Costa. So I've had the opportunity to be subject to the teachings of some really high-level teachers. And one of the things that James told me was, when he trained with Halio Gracie, now those of you who know Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you know who Halio is, okay? Halio told him that the best teachers are the guys and girls who can be the best bad guys. And it took me a while to properly grasp that concept, but what he was saying was, the best bad guys know how to push their opponents just beyond their limit enough to where they can learn and succeed, but not smash them so hard to where they don't even know what's going on, they're just getting smashed and they become discouraged. That is really the talent of an instructor, okay? And with that story in mind, that's where I want to come to Anton at Concealment Training. When you train with Anton, he's going to find your limit and he's going to move you just beyond it continually.
That's exactly what I wanted.
So he's going to set goals that with his training are achievable, but they are not easy to achieve. It's not a ego-stroking type class. You probably will fail at some things.
Okay, that's good shooting. It's good shooting, it's accurate, it's really good. But we can bring this down a lot.
But the mechanism of your failure means that success is just within reach, so you keep motivated.
Nice.
That is one of the major features I got of training with Anton. Now, something that for me is very important is when someone is teaching a performance-based skill, okay, like shooting, like, for example, sprinting, like anything that requires a degree of skill to do and a degree of body control, I personally believe they need to A, be able to do it live, or B, have done it. Like, for example, if you're taking something like sprinting, I mean, at the end of the day, at some point you get old, you can no longer be a sprinter, but you know all the mechanisms of sprinting. When it comes to shooting, if you're teaching someone to shoot fast, you as the instructor need to be able to shoot fast. Okay? The reason I say that's important is because there are things, maybe sprinting was actually a bad example, I'm not sure. There are things that the body goes through when shooting that if you don't know, you can't teach someone to overcome it. Okay? You need to have worked through that same issues yourself so you can say to that person, I've done this. What I'm going to teach you has worked, at least for me, and it can work for you as well.
If you pull off a shot, look at my pistol. So all I need to do to get it back on target is this.
Yeah.
But what we tend to do is this.
Yeah. If you can't do that, well, how do you know what you're going to do is going to work? Now, fortunately, Anton is a really high-level shooter, and that is sort of what drove me to train with him. I saw his videos on social media, and high-level competition shooter as well. So he has definitely been through the issues that most shooters go through. And when Michelle trained with him, I saw where Michelle started, and I saw where she ended off. And in one day, not even one day, 1 hour, it was a marked improvement. Now, something I do need to tell you, when you train with Anton, which is something I really like, I have to be honest with you, I love it. It's generally 1 hour sessions. So if you have a busy day, if you have a family, whatever the case may be, you can go on a Saturday, 12 till 1, 10 till 11, 9 till 10, whatever the case may be. It's a 1 hour session out of your day, but the level of improvement is drastic, okay? And it's one of those things where you don't really know you're improving until, for me personally, you go back and watch the video of where you started versus where you ended. And you're like, nah, I'm getting, like, I improved a lot over the course of that 1 hour session. Now, it is important, I believe, when you go to someone who's going to teach you to shoot, that you need to know where you are, you need to know where you want to be, okay? If you're a beginner, that's going to be picked up, and you're going to train to an intermediate level. If you're an intermediate, you're going to train to an advanced level. The nice thing is Anton's been through all those levels of himself personally, so he very easily sees where you are, and he very easily sees what your struggles are going to be.
Okay, well done. See what I mean?
Yeah, I could feel it.
That's tension.
I knew I did it. Yeah. So you can spend an hour focusing on just that struggle, and I'll tell you, there is no greater value to one-on-one training. I know he does group class as well, but from what I understand, the bulk of his training is one-on-one. You can focus in a group class. You might have 5 people all doing 5 different things incorrectly. So you've got to teach a very basic overview of what they should be doing correctly, and I hope everyone catches up. When you're one-on-one, you can focus directly on one particular problem and have that problem solved, and it yields a massive improvement in your training. I personally, after seeing Michelle train Anton and her improvement, I booked a session with him. The first session was difficult, okay, because we were going to a place that was just beyond my limit in terms of distance and speed. And those of you who know me know I'm not someone that takes lack of performance very well. I'm the YouTube guy, right? So no matter what you are, especially in this industry, if you're going to be on YouTube, you better know what you're doing. So there's always an added degree of pressure. The second shot, I know what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Now the nice thing is training with someone like Anton, who's a competition shooter, is he understands that feeling of pressure and what that pressure does to your performance, so he can talk you through it from a mental aspect as well. I found that to be invaluable, not just the physical shooting, but that Anton was able to pick up, look, this particular person is very controlled mentally. And it's true, like, if anyone's ever been on a training course with me, I don't handle lack of performance well. I pushed it, I knew it.
No, that was actually...
I'm of that generation where if you get 90% for an exam, then your parents want to know, yeah, but where was that other 10%? You know, if you could have gotten 90, you could have gotten 100. So where did you lose? So that's my mentality, right? I don't dwell, which is a bad thing. I don't dwell on success very long, but I do dwell on failure very long. That's actually a very bad trait. But as I was saying, Anton is able to get into that mindset and look at the student and say, okay, this student requires this kind of training, right? From the physical aspect and the mental aspect. And that's very, very important. And it's something that can only be brought across in one-on-one sessions.
Yeah, much better. Your steel was solid. Don't worry about that.
Now, the bulk of my training I did with my SFX, as you see from the video, but I did also do quite a lot of shooting with my Glock because I'm testing the Origin optic. By the way, guys, as you know, if you are a patron, I'm giving away one of these closed emitter red dots to one of my patrons at the end of this month. The review of this red dot is next week. If you want to join on Patience, the first link in the video description below if you're watching on YouTube. And then the link is the first comment if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram. And I found with shooting, even though I was shooting different guns, I was still getting the same positive feedback from the training. Not only did my overall accuracy improve, but my overall accuracy and speed over distance improved. So I would almost go so far as to say that, and I've said this before, but you know, the progression is continuous. These 2 hours with Anton, I did 2 days with him, 2 1-hour sessions, has yielded the greatest improvement in my shooting.
Okay, thank you. Go look at the target. 19, 17, 17. This is awesome shooting. That is really good.
Compared to all my other training. My other training, I've done a lot of tactics-based training. I've done a lot of marksmanship style training, which have drastically helped me. And at that time, it yielded the biggest improvement. But I feel that I was sort of, without sounding too cocky, I operated in that intermediate to advanced, that in between there. Training with Anton will definitely push you to the next step, maybe to an advanced level. I'm not saying I'm there yet at all, but if you are a beginner, he can take you to intermediate, and if you are intermediate, he can take you to advanced. Another cool thing of training with Anton is he continually provides you with training material. So he'll send you WhatsApp videos and WhatsApp scripts of what you should be doing, whether it be dry firing or practicing a draw stroke or even range work. And he'll also tell you what he worked on that day. So you get that constant forward feedback on where you are and how you can improve. And it's very much tailored to where you are. I was at pretty much a plateau. I wasn't getting better. And in fact, I think I was getting a little worse, to be honest with you. And since training with him, implementing the little nuanced fundamentals, things that you can't fix with someone unless you're training with them one-on-one. You have to physically pinpoint the little issues. I've seen my shooting improve dramatically, and even after training with him, I've just gotten a bit better and a bit better and a bit better as I perfect those. I'm using quote-unquote fundamentals. So I will be honest, I do want to train with him more often, because it's my goal to sort of one day compete in competition, but I don't want to make up the numbers. I'm not the kind of personality that handles failure well. So I do know for a fact, if I am going to compete in competition, I'm going to go in there needing to be at a reasonable level. Otherwise, I'm just going to irritate myself to death. So it is my goal to work with him for him to help me to get me competition ready, so I can start competing in competition. What I will do is I'll leave his links down below on how to contact him. If you are in Cape Town, we don't get many guys out in Cape Town who are teaching. And Anton, as I understand, teaches full-time. So it's his own job. So if you are looking to get some firearm training in, I highly, highly recommend you chat to him, go for the class, let him see where you are, and it's very, very unlikely you're going to come out there worse than what you went in. I want to say huge thanks to Anton for his insight. I'm sure we chat often. He's often sending me course material that I practice and go through, so I'm sure we will be chatting more, and I hope to train with him more. Guys, remember, next week, the Accra Origin optic, which is a South African optic, I am reviewing, and in the following week, I'm giving it away. That's it, guys. Have a good week. Be safe, train hard. Cheers. God bless.